to Bookpeople. Amy Kaufman, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and Kristoff will be there signing their book Illuminae. Illuminae honestly has been one of my favorite books of this year. Actually, one of my favorite books, period. It's a science fiction novel. It's very original. The format is super different, and the characters are extremely compelling. I mentioned this book in a previous video of mine. I'll be talking about more about it in future videos as well, because I really loved it. Amy Tintera is also gonna be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'll talk to you guys once I get there. Amy and Jay, what were the challenges of writing this book, especially because of the different format?
The main challenge was finding the exact format for each piece. Do we need to be personal with the character? Is it a diary entry, or do we need to deliver information? So is it a captain's report? You would think the design would be a challenge, but it wasn't.
So we convinced ourselves pretty early that we were just doing it for fun and no one was ever going to see it.
Yeah.
And that kind of freed us up to be as crazy as we could be. It wasn't until we met our editor that she actually started encouraging us to get even crazier.
Ended up with this amazing editor and amazing design team.
If you Heather, if you're watching, you're amazing. Ray, our cover designer as well, is incredible.
If you have a lot of people who speak with different speech patterns, they have different accents, and how did you approach that?
There are different ages, there are different levels of education, all kinds of things. And you sit down and you ask yourself, what is going to distinguish this person? And then once you've done that, you sort of keep a running list in your head of what are the sorts of phrases that they use. Like, for instance, there's one person who does a lot of security, he transcribes all the security footage. Yeah, and that person says, just saying, a lot. And, you know, you have these little things that each individual person will do.
Yeah, there's quirks. It's funny, we're copy editing Gemini, which is book 2 that's coming out in October this year. We were copy editing it last night and asking ourselves, would this character punctuate? Like, would they abbreviate? Would they use a particular turn of phrase?
Like that guy would never use a semicolon. He wouldn't know what one is.
It's just, he doesn't understand how that would work in his head. So we get to express character both in modes of speech, but also the way they write. One of the cool things about writing IMs and emails is that people tend to be the most of themselves when they think no one else is looking. Like if you watch two people having a conversation and they think no one else is around, they're going to be more them than they would be out in a public space. So when you're watching an IM conversation between two people who don't believe that anyone else is ever going to read them, you get a really quick insight into the way those characters think and act.
The themes were incredibly well incorporated in this novel, especially in Aiden's point of view. So how did you manage to strike the balance and not make it too heavy-handed?
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than a book that came to teach you a lesson and it's not leaving until it taught you the lesson. Yeah. We both grew up on science fiction, and we both really strongly believe that good science fiction asks lots of questions and leaves you with lots of questions.
And I don't think we went into the book with an agenda either. We were just having fun when we wrote it, and if readers take something out of it, if they find a message, if they find meaning, that's fantastic, but we didn't want to be the kind of authors that would tell you what to think. With the Aiden stuff, there's a lot of me in the way it views the universe and our place in it, and it was a really cool character to explore some of those questions in my head, but I didn't want to draw my own conclusions. I wanted readers to go away and think about these questions and draw their own conclusions. Like Amy's saying, that's what great sci-fi does.
I'm here with Amy Tintera. First thing, you mentioned that this was the hardest book you ever written, so why is that?
It was, I think, because it was a fantasy world. I had to build this entire world out of nothing, basically, and I didn't want it to be totally historical. I wanted it to be kind of pseudo-historical, and it's also kind of a complex plot. My main character is she really wants revenge, but then she also falls in love. So it was just it was tough to write, but I made it through. In
comparison to your previous books, because Reboot is science fiction, and now this is fantasy, like what different kind of challenges you have to face, like going from sci-fi to fantasy?
Man, the horses.
The horses? Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you would think it's easy, but no, you have to.
It's not. I don't know anything about horses, but figuring out like how are they going to get places on horseback and how far these places were in sword fighting, because in Reboot they have guns, they have rocket launchers, they have bombs, and there are some bombs in Ruined, but they don't have any guns. They have swords, and I have never done any sword fighting, so I have to watch YouTube videos to figure out how to do that.
How do you approach writing action scenes?
Sort of the same way I approach like kissing scenes is like
Funny enough.
yeah, it's kind of the same. I try not to focus just on the action itself, but also on the emotions. So kind of, you know, I'll describe 2 or 3 things and then kind of how the character is feeling and go back and forth. And I feel like movies and TV really, they really influence my action scenes because that's sort of what I see in my head.
The event is over. Husband, he got the Arc of Gemini, which is the same thing as me getting the Arc of Gemini, and they're gonna send that to my house. So that's pretty cool. I normally don't win anything. They're great people. They're super funny, and they gave great answers. That's pretty much it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit below. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos about books and writing and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! It's no.